The most overrated sector in India and the most underrated sector in India.
Probably the most overrated are the banks, to begin with.
Yeah, I told you.
And the most underrated are the medium-sized companies in a number of sectors. In fact, we've been focusing on those medium-sized
Mark
companies.
go for the same client meeting. He does not like banks. He likes small cap and mid cap. Yeah.
So, and we live very close to each other.
He's also in Dubai, actually.
Yes, correct.
Wow. I'm making friends meet. I didn't know this.
No, my feeling is that the great opportunities are the non-indexed companies. That's where the great opportunities are.
Like non-index company, which ones?
Non-index companies, like if you look at our portfolio, none of them are in the index, but they still have good liquidity. But these are the great companies because no one else is paying attention.
The portfolio companies you have, let's say Apollo and Persistent, you are happy to keep them for next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, definitely. We'll hold on to them for as long as they continue to grow. Okay. One of the amazing thing about India, because we do scans around the world in different markets, the number of companies that have a return on capital or return on assets of over 20% is amazing here. It's quite incredible. We look at other countries and very difficult to find. And if you have a company that has a ROE or ROA of 20% or more, they usually have no debt or very little debt. And usually they're growing at a pretty good pace. So this is the great thing about India, and it reflects the economy, of course, the fact that the country is growing so fast.
Shankar, same. The most overrated sector and the most underrated sector. You can't say banks. You can't say banks.
No. I mean, just because you asked him first doesn't mean that the answer is taken, right? I agree. I mean, in my view, banks are Nilesh will disagree, of course, but that's fine. That's the market. But my view is it's not a sector where, at least I want to put my money in. But Nilesh is a large public money manager. He can't avoid, banks, given simply the size of the weight in the index. But from my perspective, and I agree with Mark that I have an investment in a company, a very tiny company, which is maybe around 300 crore, or maybe 400 crore market cap. And I think the net worth is around 45 crores. And March 23, the full year, they've done about 25 crores in PAT. And the owner was telling me that that is still a lot lower than what he thought he might deliver. So imagine on a 45 crore balance sheet, he's delivering 25 crores in profit. He's saying there is room for going to 35. That's a 50-70% return on equity. I mean, it's phenomenal. No country in the world will give you numbers of this kind, without any doubt.
Yes. How many stocks do you broadly own in your portfolio, and what's your style of investment when you are investing in small and mid-cap stocks? What are the factors you look at?
I own a lot of companies because I believe that in investing and in investing in small caps in general, I don't want to be concentrated, because I would rather be diversified to begin with and gradually increase based on my confidence on the numbers in the business. Because there will be a lot of failure rate. I mean, it's not like the promised land in all the companies, to be clear. There will be failures, and I'm cognizant. I've been around for 30 years in this game. So I keep it fairly wide, maybe 25 to 50 companies, depending on the kind of the market we are in. And gradually it's like a marathon. So you start out with 100 runners. I've got 100 runners, or not that much, but 50. And then the field will spread out. You will find a bunch of guys leading the pack, 5 or 7 runners. Then you're clustering in the middle of maybe 10 guys. And then there'll be 25 bringing up the rear. You gradually eliminate those guys, bring the money back into the leaders and the midfield people, and bring in new companies to join the race. And it's a constant process. Like I said, in a growth country like India, there are incredible, even IPOs, for example, some of them are now getting more reasonably priced. And you're making significant money even in IPOs. Leave alone the disasters of the Nykas and the Zomatos. I think people have learned their lessons. And now you're seeing more reasonably priced IPOs coming to the markets.
Just by quick final answer, the most overrated sector and the most underrated sector.
The most underrated thing is management and governance.
Underrated sector.
Sir, sector में अच्छा promoter मिल जाए तो वो सोना बन जाता है, नहीं मिला तो. So the most underrated thing is management and governance. People don't really give too much respect for it. They'll go and dabble in all kind of companies where neither they know the management nor they believe there is governance and end up losing money. If people start respecting management and governance, chances of losing money in stock market is very, very limited. The most overrated thing is to believe that there is a moat in the business. We are living in the world of disruption. कल जो चल रहा था आज उड़ जाएगा, आज जो चल रहा है कल उड़ जाएगा. We need people who are paranoid. We need management and companies which are always worried about the disruption coming. You have to invest in companies which are disrupting their own business model rather than waiting for the competitor to come and disrupt. Governance, disruption, ये दो चीज संभाल लो, you will make money in stock market.
30 seconds.